Hello, Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have the tarot deck I'll be pulling from, the clarification deck, and the advice deck that I will be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Gemini, let's jump on in. In your recent past, you have watch for signs with the Chariot in reverse. So maybe you were aware of it, maybe you weren't, but you were receiving quite a bit of guidance in your recent past. However, with the Chariot in reverse, I feel like to you, it felt like things were just not moving. It can feel, the Chariot in reverse can represent things being stagnant, feeling stuck, just feeling like you're not where you want to be. And I do feel like there was a reason for this energy. I don't quite know what that was. Maybe we'll get more information on that when we do dive into tarot, but I do very much feel that this kind of like stagnancy period, this feeling of just not progressing, like hamster on a wheel kind of energy, like spinning your wheels and feeling like you're not really getting anywhere. But in your current energy, you have release blocks with the Six of Cups in reverse. So as of right now, there's something from your past that appears to be holding you back. Now, that can be so many different things. It can be, obviously, yes, a person, a situation, a job, but it can also be a mindset. It can be a belief system. It can be trauma. It can be so many different things. So, I don't know. We'll see when we when we dive in, because these are just the overall energies. In your immediate future, you have celebration with the Ace of Wands. So your immediate future, right now is about stagnancy and obviously working through some stuff. Your future seems to be about action. So if you feel like you aren't moving or don't really know how to move or where to move or what action to take, just know that I don't necessarily feel like that's the time for that right now. If you are taking action or if you are starting something new at this time, I feel like that's okay too. Yeah, it's not that necessarily, it just, I feel like right now is not necessarily a time to have all the answers. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. So if you aren't taking action and you feel a little bit lost right now, I feel like the answers will kind of come more in your future energy, especially with the celebration card. It's almost like you're I don't know, yeah, like you get to where you've been trying to go, or you start to see signs that things are working out or something, which almost like gives you this, I don't know if it's necessarily motivation. It could be like motivation to keep going or inspiration to keep going. But we'll see as we dive into tarot. And then the overall theme of the reading is positivity, faith, and optimism. You open the doorway to positive experiences and opportunities with your positive expectations and energy. Do not allow negative energy or temporary setbacks to interfere with the path that you are on. Keep the faith and keep going. So I do feel like that's kind of with this release blocks energy. Maybe you're kind of experiencing some setbacks, experiencing things popping up that were unexpected. Obviously, like that message is saying, like, don't let that deter you from your end goal. Don't let that deter you from, continuing to put one foot in front of the other. But again, overall energy. So let's dive into the story for you, Gemini. Let's start by looking at your recent past. Watch for signs with the Chariot in reverse. This is for Gemini's recent past. Ooh, okay. The Knight of Cups Sun in reverse, Knight of Pentacles in reverse, Five of Swords, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, Seven of Swords. Okay. I kind of get what that's saying. I don't really need those. So, okay. With the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the Chariot in reverse, 100% energy of stagnancy, or just feeling like you're not progressing, or just not like this energy of no matter how much energy or no matter how much you put into something, just feeling like it doesn't matter. Like you're not getting anywhere, you're not being seen, you're not being heard, you're not being valued, you're not being validated. Like it just feels like no matter how much you kind of tried here in this past energy, it just felt like it was a waste. It wasn't, but it felt like that. So a lot of emotional energy in your recent past. And I feel like a big reason for that is this feeling of things being very out of your control, maybe not knowing how things were going to be okay, if you were ever going to get to where you're trying to go. Just in general, not a whole lot of, positivity, faith, and optimism. Now, that doesn't mean you're not trying, right? Doesn't mean you're not trying to hold on to positive expectations and things like that for some of you. But I do very much feel that, I don't know. Yeah, there's this energy of putting a lot of energy in, but just feeling like you're not getting anywhere, creating a lot of kind of emotional turmoil because of that. But I still feel, because this Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and the reason why I feel like this card came out to kind of clarify the Chariot in reverse, is the Knight of Pentacles in reverse is still an energy of progress. It's just progress that either is happening in a different form than you expected, or progress that's happening so slowly that you can't really see it yet. So still making progress, but maybe just not in the ways that you expected. So a little bit more here. What does Gemini need to know regarding their recent past? Three of Cups in reverse, Eight of Wands here. Okay. This is an energy of feeling kind of alone. Feeling maybe a little bit misunderstood, feeling like, oftentimes when we're putting a lot of ourselves into something and it's not amounting to what we expected, or it's not kind of evolving in the way that we imagined, it can make us feel very isolated and very alone. Especially if you're kind of on a personal or spiritual journey of some sort, that experience can be very isolating, especially if the people around you aren't necessarily on the same journey. That might not be for everyone, but I do feel like there's this energy of feeling kind of isolated, feeling kind of alone here. But again, it's almost like the universe was creating space for you here, because obviously you're wanting to be here. You're wanting this celebration, but you're here, right? Because I still kind of feel like you want to be here, but you're just not where you want to be yet. And I will say that the space between where you are and where you want to be, this is the most important part. The destination doesn't really matter if it's not for the journey. And the journey is where it's where we learn about ourselves. It's where we grow. It's where we heal. It's where we evolve. And if we don't evolve personally, because we manifest who we are, we'll never be able to create more. So the journey is so important. So sometimes we have to learn to kind of embrace where we're at, even if it's not necessarily where we want to be, because we're exactly where we need to be to get us to where we want to be. Now that might make you kind of angry when you hear that. You might be like, no. But just know that, just kind of what I'm seeing here is this celebration, this outcome, wherever you're wanting to be, is very possible. I feel like you have experienced quite a bit of setback, but it doesn't mean that you're not getting there. It's almost like the universe is like I said, creating space for you to kind of maybe uncover yourself, uncover your truths, uncover what it is you really want to do. Because sometimes when we feel stagnant, that's when we actually start to kind of examine ourselves in our life for the first time, because we're able to say, okay, is this really what I want? Am I really headed in the direction that that I truly want? Or am I kind of just blindly making moves hoping that things turn out? What does Gemini need to know about the recent past? And another thing you need to know is, like, I get feeling alone, but you're not alone. You do have a lot of support, especially in the spiritual realm, but it can also be hard to believe that when you're going through it. So, and this Three of Cups in reverse energy could also just be like feeling like alone in a crowded room. You know, you're surrounded by people. You might have a lot of friends and people around you, but just still feeling isolated in some way. Okay, recent past for Gemini. Judgment with the Ace of Cups in reverse. Yeah, it's like like the universe had to slow you down for some reason. Judgment, Ace of Cups in reverse, and then the Knight of Swords in reverse. This energy of moving too fast. Like, again, I get this hamster on a treadmill kind of thing. Like, giving all of your energy to something or someone and just not seeing any progression, like not getting anywhere. And it's almost like the universe had to slow you down here in some way. Because here's the Magician and the Nine of Pentacles. It's like so you can oh my gosh. And then the Lovers, Magician, Nine of Pentacles, Two of Wands, Lovers. It's like so that you can manifest what you deserve. It's not, I don't know. I get the frustration, for sure. I completely understand why you feel the way that you do, but it's almost like the universe kind of threw certain things your way, like to hold you back on purpose, which I feel like we'll get more about now. So let's shift gears here. Current energy for Gemini, release your blocks. Six of Cups in reverse. Current energy for Gemini. Oh, those cards are all in reverse, I just realized. Current energy for Gemini, release blocks. Six of Cups in reverse. All right. We just saw this. Oh, okay. There's a Nine of Pentacles. Okay. So, what's the best way how do I verbalize this? Because I feel if you look at your current energy compared to where you were in your recent past, it feels like you're still where you were. Like, it doesn't feel like you're any closer to your goals or to the outcome that you desire or the celebration than you were in your past. But there's a reason for that. There's a truth you're needing to see about that. Because to you, it feels like nothing's changed. The universe often throws obstacles and challenges our way so that we work through our limiting beliefs associated with where we're trying to go. And I feel like there's something here about that for you. Like, there's something that has been holding you back, something from your past, that you're needing to work through in order to get to where you're trying to go. So what is that? What is it that's holding you back? That's what I want to know. What is it that's holding Gemini back here from your past? One more. What's holding you back here? A cycle of some sort. A cycle is holding you back. And that's kind of what I felt. It's almost like you're back at the start. Like, maybe you thought you're making progress and then you didn't. And now you're back at the start. That's why it's almost like the universe is saying, like, are you sure you want to go down this road again? It's almost like the universe is protecting you from repeating a cycle of some sort. Because the Six of Cups in reverse can be this energy of something from your past coming back. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean like someone from your past is coming back, or a specific situation is reappearing in your life in the exact same form, but it can mean an experience from your past is reappearing. So for instance, if you had a relationship in your past that didn't work out, there was a cycle that was kind of experienced in that connection, and now you're experiencing a different connection, but almost with the exact same cycle. It's almost like the universe is keeping you from making the same mistakes. That's why you're being held back, because it's like you're breaking out of something here. Okay, I'm intrigued. So what else? What does Gemini need to know about their current energy? You're breaking out of something here. What are you breaking out of? I need to shuffle. What is Gemini breaking out of here? Because I'm getting specific with my questions. Obviously, we know it's a cycle. I mean, right now you're experiencing divine protection in like its purest form. Okay. Sometimes, so Four of Wands in reverse with the Justice. Sometimes it's really easy for us to miss how cycles reappear in our life, because in our mind, it's different, right? It's a different person, it's a different job, it's a different experience, yet the cycle within that experience is the same. So we jump from one emotionally unavailable individual to another. Same cycle, same experience, different form. We jump from one unfulfilling job to another. Same cycle, same experience, different form. It's almost like there's something that you're needing to recognize is a deeper cycle than just the experience itself. So many people, and I see this all of the time in my channel, they'll say, all men are emotionally unavailable, or all men cheat, or no job actually pays their workers what they're deserving of. Now, that's their experience, right? So you don't want to downplay that and say that's not true. Because to them, all the relationships they've had maybe have been with an emotionally unavailable people. All the jobs that they've had have not paid them what they deserve. But that is a personal cycle that has become a personal truth. And so sometimes we have to recognize how, even though our experiences have changed, or our circumstances have changed, there might still be a cycle that is happening below the surface. So you experience partners who always cheat, partners who are always emotionally unavailable, partners who don't, value you. You experience constantly trying to prove yourself in a job that never appropriately values you. Whatever the case might be for you, because this is a general reading, so I can't tell you what this cycle is. It's going to be too personal for that, but there's a deeper cycle associated with this that is keeping you from getting what it is that you deserve. So when this talks about do not allow negative energy or temporary setbacks to interfere with the path that you are on, what this means is don't allow what has happened, the experiences that you've had. Don't allow infidelity or emotionally unavailable people or the lack of respect or whatever the case is that you've received consistently in a cycle make you believe that that's all that there is. So the biggest thing right now is about trying to recognize a pattern of some sort in your life so that you can break out of it, because the pattern is keeping you from being able to attract what it is that you deserve. Now, the hardest thing we ever have to do in this life is take accountability for the role that we play in our own suffering. When we're in situations where we're constantly attracting emotionally unavailable people and constantly being undervalued and things of that nature, it's really easy to say, nobody values me. Nobody treats me like I deserve. It's not so easy to say, I continue to allow people not to value me. I continue to allow people not to treat me like I deserve, because I think that that's as good as it can get, because that's what I've experienced. It's not a blame or shame game where you have to be like, where I'm trying to say like, man, Gemini, you suck. You keep choosing these patterns and these experiences, because that's not what this is about. But what you need to know is that there's some deep-seated pattern that is affecting you that keeps appearing in your life. It could be with one person. It could be with several different people. It could be with one job. It could be with several different jobs. I don't know. But there's a pattern that keeps appearing in your life that is blocking you from being able to have what it is you ultimately deserve. So the path that you are on is getting what it is that you deserve, right? That's what everyone wants. Everyone wants to be happy and fulfilled and abundant and free. Now, the ways of going about that, that's going to differ. But on some level, everyone is just trying to freaking do the best they can with what they have. And what you're needing to recognize here is there is a pattern that's holding you back. And that pattern needs to be broken. And anything that isn't... It's almost like the universe is protecting you from repeating a cycle here. I don't know. I don't know in what form. I don't know how. Maybe a relationship ended. Maybe because you're receiving signs in some way, shape, or form. But all of this is so you can get your justice. All of this is so you can get what you deserve. It's just that this pattern doesn't have, with the Four of Wands in reverse, it doesn't have the foundation for you to have what it is that you deserve. So the universe is trying to protect you from repeating a cycle of some sort. But it's going to require you to be very, very honest about what the cycle is. All right, immediate future for Gemini, celebration with the Ace of Wands. What can Gemini expect in their immediate future should they choose to move forward in alignment with their higher self? Okay. What can Gemini expect moving forward? Four of Swords, the Tower, Eight of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. Okay. So, this is more like advice moving forward. Because this Four of Swords in the Tower is like this need to reflect on what hasn't worked out. Now, I'm going to talk about this at the end of this reading, but one of the... at the beginning of April, I'm putting on a workshop for how to attract the love that you truly deserve and desire. Now, I mention that because one of the biggest things we're going to talk about in that reading is recognizing patterns from your past. Because if we don't understand what hasn't worked, we will continue to repeat the same behaviors and make the same mistakes until we kind of figure out what those were trying to teach us. That's a lot of what this is about. Looking at what hasn't worked, looking at how certain habits have led you certain places and certain experiences always kind of play out the same. And when you look back at your past and you say, well, getting into a relationship with an emotionally unavailable person always ends in pain, or settling for a job that I absolutely hate just to pay the bills always ends up sucking my soul dry. When you're willing to kind of like take a look and look at, no matter where I'm at, making those decisions or, pursuing from that place, it always ends in disaster. It always ends in a tower, because if the universe will not allow you to settle where you're not meant to settle. So if you're trying to settle in places where you don't belong because they don't align with what you deserve, the universe is going to throw towers your way. You're gonna experience endings in relationships. You're going to experience, financial struggles. You're going to experience things that are trying to get you to move in a different direction toward what it is that you ultimately desire and deserve. So that's what is happening here. The universe is trying to get you to move out of a pattern and into a new experience. And look, the Eight of Pentacles with the Ten of Pentacles, for you to get what it is you've been working toward anyway. So if things have kind of shifted in your energy, or it feels like things are just not working out. When we experience a same outcome or something that we're angry about over and over and over again, if you're having like the same argument with a partner, or you're just kind of experiencing a lot of things going wrong, a lot of times the universe is trying to say, you got to move in a different direction, or you've got to shift gears here so that you can get to where you're trying to get. It's not the universe saying you can't have what you want. It's the universe saying that is not the way to get there. And so that's what this action and this celebration and, all of this energy is talking about, is when you can look at your past and you can say, okay, obviously when I do that doesn't work. And when I try that doesn't work. So I got to do something different. I got to approach my life from a completely different place. And that, can lead to different things. Now that's your ego's worst nightmare, because your ego prefers a familiar hell. So this pattern, the cycle, whatever this is talking about for you, your ego loves that, because it keeps you stuck in places that it knows that it can predict outcomes. It knows exactly how things are going to play out. It knows exactly what everything's going to look like. And that is like your ego's heaven. Even though for you, it's actually hell, because it's obviously not where you want to be. It's obviously not making you happy. It's obviously not fulfilling. So when, we're trying to take steps in a different direction into the unknown, your ego is going to do everything in its power to say, don't do that. Stay in this old pattern, because this old pattern is safe and comfortable and predictable, even though you know exactly how it's going to play out. So, a couple of examples of that can be like, sometimes we don't realize that maybe in relationships we don't really have a type. We have a karmic cycle, or we continue to be unfulfilled with a job because it's not necessarily the job, it's what we're doing in general. So being just as an example, being an accountant at one firm is just going to be as miserable as being an accountant at another firm. It's not where you're at, it's the job itself. So recognizing that pattern that lies from within and figuring out how the universe is trying to push you to move here, because the movement that you're kind of being pushed into is like exactly what's needing to happen here. Okay, but let's get more. What can Gemini expect moving forward? So I feel like there are good things ahead of you. There really are. You have the ability to get to where you want to go, but the universe really is trying to protect you from repeating old cycles. Seriously, this is like divine protection at its finest. This is exactly what it looks like. It's when the universe, slows us down or holds us back from something, or takes a relationship from us, or we lose a job, or whatever the case is. It's like that's the universe's way of saying, don't go back there. You don't want that. You know how that ends. You've been there before. We're good. We're done with that. It's almost like that's what's happening here. Is the universe is saying you don't want to go back there. You want to go over here where there's new, way more promising, way more abundant experiences. It's just that this is so unfamiliar, so it's really, really uncomfortable for you because it's so unpredictable. All right, immediate future for Gemini. If you can trust that the universe has your back right now, and just through this experience and through everything that's happening, and try to recognize the patterns and how the universe is trying to break patterns, and this is not an easy thing to do, because when I talk about trusting the universe, I mean trusting yourself. We are the universe in motion. The level of trust that we have in ourselves and in our deservingness and in our capabilities and in what's possible for us, that's going to be how much we trust the universe. Because if you don't believe you're capable or deserving or that it's possible, you're not going to believe that anyone's going to help you get there. But if you do believe that you're capable, deserving, and that it's possible, then you're going to believe that, why wouldn't it happen for you? And of course the universe has my back. I deserve to experience this. But if you can trust that the universe has your back during whatever this kind of transformation, or redirection, those words might not be might not super resonate for you, because it doesn't necessarily feel like, I don't know, that. It just feels like breaking out of an old version of you, of an old life. Anyway, you can trust that you're supported in this. I feel like the pieces are going to fall together and fall into place in a way that is more than you can even imagine. Like sometimes a lot of the reason that we don't move, right? We don't move in a different direction or make different decisions or approach things from a different mindset or, break certain cycles is because it's within our control to understand how those things are going to play out. Being willing to kind of trust the universe requires taking steps outside of your comfort zone to say, all right, universe, I have no idea how this is going to play out, but I know you've got my back. And when you can do that, you uncover opportunities and solutions and miracles and things that you wouldn't see if you didn't ever try. I hope that makes sense. So again, right now is not even necessarily a time to move. Like maybe you're in the process of that. You're kind of being forced to move. But you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to understand why this is all happening. You don't need to understand anything right now. All you need to know is this is happening for a reason and that this is all going to lead you to where you're trying to go. So trying to view this with positivity, faith, and optimism. That doesn't mean not accepting where you're at right now, right? Because I think that when I talk about like having, being positive and having faith in the universe, it's like, oh, that's just toxic positivity. Because that's not what I mean. I'm not saying look at your life and be like, everything is great when it feels like everything's crumbling, because that's not how that works. But being able to say, okay, yeah, this sucks. I don't know what's happening. I'm afraid. I'm lost. I'm unsure. But all I can be sure of is that the universe has my back. And the more you try to lean on that, the more that things will kind of unfold to prove that to you. All right, one more for Gemini's immediate future. What can Gemini expect moving forward? A new beginning. This is what you've been looking for this whole time anyway. Because this Fool here, it's like a clean slate. It's being free of old patterns, free of old cycles, free of an old version of you. And that's a lot of what this feels like. It's almost like maybe the universe is holding you back from situations that like used to resonate with you, like used to align with the person that you once were, but you're not that person anymore. You're different. And maybe that's why you went through this period of isolation, is you changed, you grew, and you looked around you and you were like, nothing aligns anymore because you had changed and everything else had stayed the same. And so maybe you were trying to get back into situations or back into relationships or back into jobs or whatever that aligned with like that version of you. But the universe is saying, you're not that person anymore. You don't have to settle. You don't have to stay there anymore. You can evolve. Your life can evolve along with the evolution that has happened for you. So I don't know. This is kind of a cool reading for you guys. Again, it might be scary. It might be, you might be facing a lot of uncertainty. There might be a lot that you don't know right now. It's not a bad thing. I really do feel like all this, I don't know. Yeah. You're being pushed into movement. And I feel like that's going to lead you to where you're trying to go. Okay. As I mentioned, so I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to focus on what can you do right now to ensure that you're moving forward in alignment with your higher self. So like what's within your control to ensure that that's the case. All the information for that is in the description box below. As I mentioned, I am putting on a workshop for how to attract the love that you deserve and desire into your life. That is going to be talking about romantic relationships, friendships, just kind of how to find your people and how to sustain those relationships. That workshop is going to be on April 5th at 6 p.m. Central Time. It is not through YouTube. It is going to be through Zoom, and tickets are required to attend. All of the information to purchase those tickets, the link to that is in the description box below. If you cannot make the live event for whatever reason, I know that a lot of you are kind of all over the world, so I tried to make it at a time where at least the majority of people in America should be able to attend, because it is a Friday afternoon, hopefully after work and things. But if you can't attend for whatever reason, I will be sending out the link for that to anyone who purchased a ticket. I will be sending out a recording of it to anyone who purchased a ticket the next day. So if you aren't able to attend, not a big deal. You can still receive the recording. The only thing you'll be missing out on if you do opt for the recording instead of attending the live event is there will be a 15 to 20 minute Q&A session that I will be doing in the workshop. Obviously, if you're not at the live event, you can't ask questions, but you will still receive the recording of the Q&A. So otherwise, thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that the reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Gemini, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.